Hello and welcome into the SorareData NBA Strategy Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare, joined once again by the fine gentleman from Sorare First Pitch, Alex Super, TiltCityFC, Keith Jamison, Gold Guy 231, Gator Guy 231, everywhere else. One day it'll all be linked. Today is not that day, though.
I checked last night. It's not the day.
Still not there, huh? Man. Yeah. So today we have a topic that the three of us have been discussing a lot, and it's kind of like a discussion because a lot of other people are discussing it, which is really the foundation of most of our shows, to be honest. But the sky is falling along with our card values, and everyone is looking for a solution, or everyone has a solution that could be completely what's the nicest word I can say? It just might not be practical. Let's put it that way. So a lot of impractical.
How about that? We have a lot of self-serving.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Although sometimes the best ideas are actually self-serving ones. But anyway, I'm here to throw a wet blanket on a few people because that's kind of just what I do sometimes. And hopefully Alex and Keith will be able to make it sound better because that's what they do. So
Alex, maybe.
Yeah.
It's very
I do want to start off with this. Alex, what was the last SorareNBA card that you bought?
I bought a Cam Reddish and a Damian Lillard limited going into this week because I had Tyus Jones and I had Giannis and it looked good. So as much I told myself, I was like, no more NBA purchases. I'm not doing this. But then my lineup was so close. I need a Jose Ramirez rare and I blew my money. I don't have enough for it now.
Keith, what was the last one you bought?
I had to look. I'm so glad you started with Alex because I didn't know. I think I was bored at the T-ball field because T-ball field is actually a really boring place. And I bought a Vlatko Konkar, I think one of the weeks that they didn't have anybody. And I think I was convinced that Underdog could be fun. It wasn't, but I was convinced it could be.
No, this way. Sorry. That guy's going to convince you that Underdog is fun.
But yeah, so 20 and just so you know the timestamp, 23 days ago was my last.
The last rare I bought was 17 days ago. It was James Wiseman.
Okay.
Oh, goodbye.
Worked out.
I was looking at mine. The last one I bought was 21 days ago. And it was the very first Josh Hart Knicks card on the platform. Yes. So I had to get that one. The last before that was 27 days ago when I accidentally bought 2 Mark Williams limiteds.
That worked out.
The only reason it was an accident is because I didn't think, I went to click buy on one when everybody was snapping them up. Yep. And it showed somebody else bought it, but it wasn't even the somebody else who was selling. And so I was like, oh, I didn't get it. And then I had to buy the next one. And then 2 were in my gallery, which I know Keith has had before because he has a very quick Sorare marketplace trigger finger. Yeah. The last rare I bought was about 2 months ago. When was this? January 9th, when I paid $9. Or no, I'm sorry. I paid $58 for a Javon Carter rare card.
I mean, you could almost buy a 5th price limited lineup for that price, Laird.
This seems like a giant mistake that I made.
It's okay.
Just kidding. But I think the problem is that the three of us are very active SorareNBA players, and we're not buying anything except Alex because he just can't help himself. I guess
literally true. Yeah. The other thing is just that I had a good lineup, which I haven't said
like you had 3/5 of a good lineup.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Cam Reddish was like $16.
Does it make you feel better or worse that I have had a Cam Reddish limited for 5 months?
I how much you pay for it?
I'm impressed.
This is where you feel better. I spent $22.35 on the 33 of 5,000 Cam Reddish.
That wasn't much more than me.
No. Laird, I'm just impressed by that. Like that you would
by buying Cam Reddish?
No, that he lasted that long. I mean, that's just probably because you bought him and immediately went down, and you don't sell for a loss.
I actually put Cam Reddish, this card specifically, in a bit of a collector mentality.
Knicks.
That I had this plan at one point to get all of the New York Knicks in the 33 mint as a tribute to Patrick Ewing.
I remember this.
And so I have a few. In fact, let me see who I have now that I am saying this. So I definitely have the Reddish. I have Archie Diacono in the 33, Miles McBride, Jericho Sims, Obi Toppin, Trevor Keels, who I believe has spent 100% of the season in the G League. And that's it. I think there was one that made somebody was bidding me up on one of them. And I was like, this is really stupid. I'm not overpaying for any of these.
Right.
And I let it go. And then it was kind of like, boy, this collection looks really stupid without all of them. And so I actually just gave up. But I have here, Germ Sorer says, I think I have the Julius Randle 33 of 1,000. So I might be in touch. But yeah, I don't have Randall. I don't have Brunson. I don't have anybody good. I just have these guys. And then Reddish happened to be the one that I had. So that's why I had it. Don't give me too much credit for keeping it.
But it worked out.
It did. If we had any idea how to easily track rewards, I think I won a reward with it before.
I don't know. I will say, part of the fast forwarding part of the conversation, that type of feature might make everybody feel a little bit better.
Where are you, Sorare?
Where are you?
I would love to know.
We can help the sentiment. SorareData can help the market sentiment with one easy feature.
It does feel like that would help.
It would. It would.
Everyone who are like, boy, this card that I bought is now worth half. And you're like, yeah, but you've won double in rewards. And it'd be like, oh, okay, that's right.
Do you know what my single favorite thing about that feature? And I'll mention the feature if nobody is on the football side, but on the football side, the API allows SorareData to track the amount of rewards won with the card. And my favorite part, Laird, I'm curious if you agree with this, is I just scroll down and I just see the amount and it justifies what I paid for the guy. It doesn't matter if some of the rewards that the guy won, he like screwed up completely and went from like a T0 to a T2. I still count it. I'm like, thank you, Dusan Tadic, for that 40. You still got credit for that win in there, even though you were the worst performer. But it does just make you feel better to see the amount of yield that a card's gotten you like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just standing at the back of your gallery doing nothing.
I'm going to pull this up. I realize this is a football card, but this is basically what we do for football for those watching, that as soon as Sorare has rewards, MLB and NBA rewards in the API. So if you go to the card that you actually own, I happen to own this 33 of 1,000 Ibrahim Sangare. If you go to just SO5 rewards, these are all of the rewards that I've won with
but
this
there's the
card.
9%er, by the way. The one you just scrolled, that's the 9% that I like to just ignore, that he actually screwed me that week.
Oh, yes. Right. So this is the how many points they score, or the percentage of the total points they scored within the lineup.
Right.
But you scroll through, so literally you can click on all of the rewards. We show exactly like when you won them, what division, and then it calculates that Sangare at the time, the rewards were 1.384 ETH. They're worth 0.667 now, and even that seems a little aggressive, a little high. I always love looking back. There was one like this. Ryan Gravenberg was 0.152, and now it's 0.018.
Right.
He transferred. It was a little different.
That's less to do with the market and a lot more to do with the transfer.
Maybe equal column A and column B, but either way, seeing something like that, and Sangare is probably a bad example because I'm pretty sure. Actually, I have no idea what his cards go for now. I spent 0.028. Oh yeah, yeah. So the last one sold for half what I did, and yet I won all of these rewards, and so I don't feel as bad. Had no idea Sangari was that low either, too. Maybe the sky is falling. Oh well. Anyway, but Sorare, if you're listening, that API stuff is important, and it lets people see that, like, because the only thing that we can easily look at now is what did I pay for the card, and what are people paying for it now, and without any context, it just doesn't help. So
Agreed.
Get that in.
We don't even have to change NBA for that. It's like that, which, like, I'm mostly fine with the game. And I think maybe my expectations do need adjusting more than the game. But I would love to know how much that Jalen Brunson that I have has won, because it's been a lot. I'd like to put a number on it. I already feel good about it. I'd like to feel better. And I'd like to feel better about my gallery. And that's like a really simple way to do it, I think. I don't know. I don't know a damn thing about what goes on and off an API, but just how to call them.
Yeah. I know a lot of work goes into it, but I think a lot of work should be done on it. It's that. But anyway, it seems like the conversations lately are only about card values, whether it's I bought this card for $50 and now I can sell it for $20, or I won this card for finishing so high and it's only worth $10, and we just got to fix it, man. So guys, what are your ideas? Because we got to fix this right now with 18 games left in the regular season.
Let's let the sanity come out first, and then I'll go to the insane.
Does that mean Alex?
Is you referring to me?
Yeah.
I dropped the worst idea possible in the chat by saying, like, hey, maybe we go to a single day contest, which I hate on a number of levels, but as far as the platform goes, I can understand how it would kickstart the market, and it would make the need for more cards more necessary because you'd have so many fewer players playing on a given day and things like that. And you avoid DNPs a lot more, probably, ideally, but that's fine. No, I do not play NBA DFS. When I did, it annoyed the living hell out of me. It was too much work. The late swap is incredibly necessary and will get you divorced within, a year of doing it, I would assume. I don't think it's a great solution, but I also didn't think it would be the first thing we discussed.
So I actually don't think daily is the worst idea I've ever heard, but it might be the second worst I've ever heard. And so, like, that product exists, like, not with NFTs yet, but, like, I don't think that's what this product needs. And I actually think it would push more people away than make people, like, I would stop playing as opposed to buy more cards to keep playing. And so the idea that, like, we had discussed, which Barclays member brings up, more tournaments really does fix a lot. Like,
I think.
Sorry, go on, Keith.
No. I mean that's kind of like a little bit of a fast forward to everything. Is that I think that I'm gonna try to, like, sum up, like, the dissatisfaction and, like, the reason that more tournaments is a solution all in one, because I purposely, in our little chat beforehand, I purposely put myself on I try to even be more negative than I am, just to have Laird, like, and Alex try to talk me out of it, which is essentially, like, the most common, we'll try the right word, complaint, bad word, however you want to say it online, is I can get top 10. I can get, what was one we saw? Like, the most prominent tweet. I got 5th place. It was James Harden, who Laird brought a great point. Is it the 5th ranked player on the platform over the last 2 months. So he's slotted perfectly right at 5th place. And what was he worth? $40 as a limited? Laird, $40?
Yeah.
$40.
Yeah.
The lineup that was used to get that, Laird actually did the numbers, was $76 to put together. And I think a fair argument is that your top 5 in a tournament with thousands upon thousands of people, and $40 as the winning prize for a top 5 actually doesn't seem great. I do not contradict that opinion at all. That was the stance I took. But the better argument is not that $40 isn't enough. It was the 5th ranked player that he's worth $40. That's what it's worth. It's the fact that it is one tournament. And it's not like a burn mechanism like DFS where you put the money in and it is gone and you can never do another thing with that. That all you get back is the $40. It's the fact that you own these cards. You know, at that point, that $75 lineup, I think we did the math, could have been sold for 60 or 65. You won 45, and I can, as soon as the game link locks, play that exact same lineup again, maybe L10, but close to the same lineup again. And maybe I don't get the top 5, but maybe I win a $4 card next week. And now that lineup has yielded me $44. And now maybe the next week I don't win anything, but the week after I win $5, and so on and so forth. And that's how you can get, for those that only care about the value, that's how you can get more out of it. And then part 2, which I've seen a lot of, is, well, $40 isn't worth my time. Buy more expensive, go up in scarcity. Like, if $40 isn't worth it, don't play limiteds. Play rares. If $200 in rares isn't worth it, play super rare. Super rare is too expensive. I don't know what to tell you. Go play football.
I mean, there are definitely people who play like just super rare. Like, they're not a lot of them, but there are definitely those people.
Oh, last little bit of the rant, and then I'll shut up for a minute. But is also that the reason though that the more competitions fixes all this, because now instead of winning $40 just in one of the 3 tournaments open that week, maybe if there's 10 tournaments, I can win $40 3 times with all the damn cards that I've accumulated. Laird, how many training lineups did you have last week? 37?
36.
36. You must have sold somebody, because I swear it was 37 at one point.
Maybe it was.
Now you can move it in more places, yield in more spots, because Lord knows we're not yielding in training. But that's, to me, why the fact that, you know, having all these cards and all these mints, 5,000s in limiteds, 1,000s in rares, or 1,000 in rare, 100 in super rare, where it really falls is that we have contender, champion, and then whatever the heck Sorare throws at us for no good reason. Western Conference, BS. Eastern, I hate those two. Underdog should just be a fixture if they wanted to, or U23 should just be a fixture. Or like I tossed out, my terrible idea was just give us more 200, 220, 240, whatever. And then I can prioritize whatever it is that I think will fit the best, or whichever one I like the most, I can prioritize that. Like, to me, that's how all of this gets fixed. Like, we can just win more.
So the one thing before I ask this question, you like really accurately described my past DFS experiences where you were like, you put $40 in and it's gone.
It's gone.
That's how I play DFS. The money's just gone. But the biggest like pushback that I've seen on the more competitions thing is that means that there are more rewards, and therefore there are more people trying to sell cards, which then pushes prices down. Alex, how do you respond to that? Because like I keep thinking how I want to respond, and I end up just like not being able to get the words out.
So my response both to what you said just then and Keith's proposition, even more of, you know, like tiered caps, you know, 80, 100, 120, whatever, however you want to break it up, is I don't know that you add rewards. I think you just redistribute the rewards differently. And for like the different tiered caps, I think you do have to incentivize certain caps. And kind of like in football, the the threshold is in one of the caps, and I don't know if that's incentivizing it for people. I don't know. I haven't been playing it. I've been playing Premier League because I want to win Premier League cards.
It very much incentivizes.
It does.
Okay, so that's great. I think for me, the problem with redistributing the rewards is it's already pretty damn hard to win a reward. You've seen 2 of my lineups where I put up 250 in champion and not won anything. And even, when I get up to 260 and I win a unusable Scottie Pippen Jr., it's not much better, but at least I have the rush of serotonin of, the reward animation. So I guess I'm answering a question with a question or a proposition with another question.
Well,
but
rebuttal on that, like the reality is the more competitions, the more you spread out the usage of the card. The reason that the tournaments are getting so stupidly high scoring where you get these lineups that look awesome is because there's too many Tyus Jones. And they're all going.
Great answer.
A lot of people have like 3 Tyus Jones at this point. Hell, they might not even bought them. They just keep re-winning the rewards on some of those. But you've got I haven't looked at like the power that we have on SorareData, but I mean, you got a guy like that's on a 20 and drops 70, and now we have 600 of them or 700 of them. Scores are going to be stupid because everybody knew to play him too.
And this just
Ja gave his alcohol. Ja put that out publicly that he was being a moron, so everybody knew to play Tyus Jones at that point.
Right. It's just came to me too, and I don't know the market logistics of this, but as you're talking about it, does incentivizing holding cards help the market? Like, if there are a lot of times now where I'm like, I don't want to sell this dude, or I don't want to, I don't want to move him or anything because I don't want to nuke his XP, because I look at the top of these scores and I look at the All-Star competition. If you played all rares on Saturday night, you were like 50 clear of the person who played all limiteds just because of power. And if there was one, like, it was a pretty big difference. Now when I see the top of these competitions and how small the margins are, like half points, quarter points is the difference between, tiers. Incentivizing holding and building power then means there's less card movement, which adds rarity of cards on the market. Does that sound right in any sort of way? I mean, I don't know how you incentivize power other than making the cards usable again, but
I mean, like, XP is really important in on the football side too, and there's still not really that. Like, I don't think enough people hold cards just for the XP,
right?
And so it's more like, I mean, it's the same that we see that, like, people don't. Most of Sorare is just incredibly short-sighted. So it's like, hey, do I want to hold this card for the next 3 months to get the XP higher, or do I just want to sell it so I can get like a better player into my lineup this week? And the answer is always sell the card now and get a new lineup this week, because we're here to play the game, and nobody likes to long-term plan this stuff.
Laird, and I want to say it was Black, said this like years ago. And I think it was like one of the original like XP shows, and you were like, how important is XP? And I think you said it's actually more important to have the player that scores more points. I mean, but that's the truth behind it, right? Is that like, oh, I don't want to sell this Desmond Bain, but he's on the same L10 that Jalen Brunson is, and Jalen Brunson's going to score 10 more points. Doesn't really matter how much XP Desmond Bain has. Jalen Brunson won.
Correct.
So I think you're right.
Alex is not here for the Desmond Bain slander, so watch out.
I would hate the Brunson slander more. I think, though, we get it wrong so often with who's going to outscore, that I would just prefer, like, if they project similarly, because God knows that I live and die by my projections, but if they project similarly, I'm going to play the guy with more power.
Right.
I mean, that might be like the 5th tiebreaker, but
it's the difference of when they are significantly, like, we've seen it many times when the guy's way too high in XP and he's not that good of a player, or he got up there because I mean, we'll go with Bane, right? That Ja was out for a month, and Bane's L10 soared up, and then Ja came back, and now all of a sudden he's not going to nearly project to that same number. Like that's where that can come into play. I think back to like the more tournaments though, is that does incentivize you to hold more cards because you have to use them in more places, and now you're not necessarily choosing, which guy's going to the bench or going to training, Jalen Brunson or Desmond Bane. You're going, okay, I'm going to use Jalen Brunson in champion because that's my priority. And, I don't have a great lineup in cap 210 or cap whatever. I'm way off. Actually, why am I in soccer caps? Don't mind me. I'm in cap 130 or whatever the heck they want to call it. I'll play Bane there because I like him a little bit less than Brunson, but it's still a lineup that I can put well together, and the XP does matter. So now I want to hold my cards. Like the reality right now is we should not be holding the cards we're holding, because then we get 37 training lineups, like Laird said, and the XP doesn't actually matter that much.
The only reason to not hold cards is to avoid having to pay up when they do become the cards you need.
Right. But then that's like for 1 week, and you've like literally like sat on the guy, and like you used him one time in 2 months.
Though to be fair, those players, I mean, we're going into game week 40, and a lot of times when guys have really solid L10s, they're usable for 4 game weeks. So like,
sure,
I like holding guys. I love when all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's a Drew Holiday week again, whether it's Giannis being out or his L10 slumps back down, because he does pop off. He has some games, and I like having him, but I don't want to have a whole gallery where, like I had 41 training lineups last week. I don't like it any more than anyone else, trust me. But I will say I would rather hold a Drew Holiday than sell it for 60% of what it was when I won it.
But to me, that's like the source of so much of this frustration. Is the fact that we have all these cards and we're winning all these back to the, you get a tier 4 or a tier 5 because stuff's so hard right now. It's a back of the gallery player that you'll never use, or you only use when the L10 like aligns perfectly.
Yeah.
And you don't really have a good place to put them.
And I have plenty of those.
And then you go to the market and you're like, $6? I don't want to even sell it for $6 because your point, what if I have to pay 16 for him in a week? That will make me really pissed off. So it's like this negative spiral. I think that's kind of where a lot of the people that are frustrated with the platform are at. And I think that it's as simple as just give us more stuff to play.
So do you guys think, if you think of this from as realistically as you can, would you rather win more cards or be able to sell your card? Like we want both. We want to like win really cool cards, and the ones that we don't want to keep, we want to sell them for a lot of money. If you could only have one, like what if you won once a month, but you could easily sell the card, or you could win every game week? Which one would you rather have? Like, I think the real like point I'm trying to make is the pushback on like we need more competitions is when we go to sell those rewards, they're not going to be worth as much because so many more people are going to be winning because there are more competitions. And even like Alex was saying, like they could redistribute the rewards, but like where we are mint wise, there are plenty of reward like cards to give away if they wanted to. So if we added more competitions, they could add to the total number of cards that they're rewarding.
Right.
And it just seems like the focus of this game, at least what it seems like from Sorare's perspective, is the game, and like get cards to play our game and score the most and compete against other people. And nothing about it is like win a reward so you could sell it and buy something else. Like it's What can you win? We're all playing so we could win a Doncic.
Right.
And it just seems to me that if they had more competitions and therefore fewer training lineups and more people were winning cards, that's better than whatever the market implications are to more cards being on the market.
And within what you just said there, I think that Andy Black has always made this joke that he but he's serious. And the fact that like if there was a God, what does he call it, Laird? Like essentially that you can like a random jackpot that this week 540 first place gets an Mbappe,
right,
or something like that. And I'm not here to say that that's what I want. That 540 first place gets a Luka, and like that person posts on Twitter and then gets destroyed by everybody. But in a way, of the NBA mechanism, 541st could be, I don't know, Kenyon Martin Jr., who was awesome for like 2 months. Like it was one of my favorite cards for a really long time and was like really, really, really valuable during that time in terms of being able to use for the game more than like soccer has because of the L10 thing. So you can get like these later rewards that aren't like superstars. But I mean, Alex, you're like better on top of this than me. Like who's like the scrub guy the last 2 weeks that it's just been like absolutely like a must-have type of guy that you would want to have? You know, Marvin Bagley showed up. Bagley showed up. Right?
Yeah, Wiseman and Bagley.
So like these guys that were legitimate tier 4, tier 5 guys at parts of the season. Now, if all of a sudden you won one of them late in the so I think the answer is like winning, because even when I like only have won like a tier 5 or something like that, I still enjoy going to the little rewards animation and just seeing like even for me, I don't know if anybody else is. Part of my game is like I like to correctly guess who the player that's about to come up is. Like Knicks guard, and like real quickly like, all right, tier 5, it's not Brunson. Give me a call. That would be cool. I don't know. I actually that part.
I actually, not to cut you off there, I always just hope that they messed up and like I know it's tier 5 and I see Nick's guard and I'm like, Brunson, come on! I'm like, oh, Miles McBride. I already have one of those.
Yeah, there's great names. Thibault, Xavier Tillman. I won that like 3.5 months ago as a tier 5, and it's been awesome.
I won a Pat Connaughton as a tier 4, as a 13, and he was a 33 within a couple of weeks. And that was the stretch where I won a T2 4 game weeks in a row, a T2 rare 4 game weeks in a row. So yeah, I totally get that. I would rather be super hyped about, to answer the question from a while back, I would rather just like when I did win, be really excited about it than just grind out. Like I have 43 rare cards. I have not used 11 of them. Like I looked at that. I haven't used them.
Like ever?
Nope.
Did you buy them? I'm just curious. I don't know if it's changed. Were they buy or are they all rewards?
9 of the 11 were rewards. I bought 2 George Hills one time.
I think I did too.
Yeah, when there was something going on with the Bucks, I bought 2 George Hills, and then there was it was the Heat week actually, and then more value came open. I was like, I'm not using these, and then he didn't play anyway.
But you guess what? The George Hills hurt a lot more than any of the other ones that you won that are sitting there without utility. You
absolutely
don't care as much about.
To be fair, they were $10 rares, so I have a lot of limiteds, but yeah.
Hey, I just found out that a Jordan Poole limited, my tier 2 limited was only worth $10 or $12. So I don't know. I think that's the crux of it, is that the gameplay, the addicting part of the gameplay is having the sweat, right? Even though Alex has disagreed with me on that, it's still, to me, for 99% of the population that I agree with, I guess. But it's like having the, like being able to follow the players, like know that you still got something on the line. You know, when Laird, like how much fun have you enjoyed like Damian Lillard over the last like month and a half?
Oh, it's awesome.
You don't get to watch the game, just waking up and going, I wonder if he put up 100.
Yeah, exactly. Like 86, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
how about what people do at the J League, right? Anybody that has like J League, all they're doing is like looking for the waking up sweat. Go, oh, he did well, because nobody's waking up at 2 a.m. I hope. But yeah, I think it's the gameplay of like being in contention, even if it's in contention for tier 4, tier 5. It's utilizing the guys, like, you know, Alex was talking about beforehand, having league pass and probably watching players that he never would have watched without Sorare.
True.
That's the stuff.
To tie all of this up, to just here, I think this is a pretty good encapsulation. waking up to the Damian Lillard plays on the West Coast. I only get to watch him when he's on the East Coast. I'm in bed by 10. You know what's really great is when you buy a Damian Lillard and then you wake up to see that he scored 105 points in training because you couldn't use him, which happened to me. I've gotten the 86s, the 105. He was right there in training.
Where did your training lineup finish? Did you win training?
Probably not, because I generally play my good guys with scrubs to get their XP higher.
You should have put the commons with him, Alex. Come on, optimize
I'm
that.
pretty sure I had my Lillard limited in training that week as well.
I think you did, or a throwaway or something. I think you said.
I literally don't even think I threw him away. I think he was just in training. I had my rare in a lineup because he's like my best rare. But
hold on, as Laird, like for people that don't know, like Laird's like football gallery. One of the things I enjoy is that Laird has stuff. He'll have a lot of throwaway lineups that he'll randomly have a guy do a good amount and it drives him nuts, but they're like genuinely throwaway. The worst part of NBA, you actually don't really have like space to throw stuff away.
No.
There's not like throwaway lineups where you could even torture yourself because there's just not enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they are. I think the solution to like the market issues that people were saying were just like, well, if we have more competitions, people need to buy more cards. And then they come back to that is like, well, that just means there are more people selling. Somebody mentioned in chat, and Alex, you said it earlier, like they actually don't even really need to add rewards.
Nope.
If you just kept the rewards the same, but just distributed them differently, that could be a solution. Obviously, theoretically, it becomes harder to like win in champion, but like if the number of, because like if they added competitions, like we're all playing those new competitions, we may have to buy cards for them. Who knows?
Right.
But it is now like more people competing for the same number of rewards. But like it just feels like the point of the game is to like win cards, and it's not to like win cards to sell cards.
Right.
And even if it is win cards to sell cards, like nobody's saying you can't sell. There is a number. It's going down with 18 games left in the regular, or however many it is. But I mean, we're just going to keep saying it. Like we just need more competitions. And ironically, they like reduced the number of common competitions, which like, I get why they did it. I think the timing was really bad. Like just wait for next season if you're going to really do that. But because there were plenty of people I know that were like effectively like grinding the common competitions and had fun. And so we were like, hey, you know that fun you're having, don't do that anymore. Buy a card, which you don't want to because you're just having fun and you don't follow the NBA at all. And I don't know if fewer or more people are playing the commons now, but I don't think it helped anyone move into the limiteds.
Yeah. Somebody just said it was a joke, to be honest. So the few people that I know that have just played commons and stuff like that, like there's a guy in one of our soccer chats that sweats the common stuff really good, and like that's like really enjoyment for him, like to try to win a limited through there. Like that's like a goal of his, like, you know, to snap the. They just have so many cards there. Like they're like so short on their mints too. Like that was the other thing I was going to say with the rewards thing. Like it's just like baseball. They're not even going to come close. Now they've slowed down auction rates, and in reaction, I'm assuming, to card prices and all, which is fine. Like they have the ability to do that, but they're going to fall so short of where they need the mint. And like, guess what? If you had more competitions, you could have just given those out and maybe gotten more people involved, or maybe you could have spread some out into commons. Had those people get the fever. I don't know.
I do think, and I felt this way about the common change on football too, because at the time I was only playing common when I sold out. The way common was structured when they made the change, the only way you could win a limited was if you had been playing common since like 2021. Right. So I understood that change because I was looking at my common gallery like, holy cow, I'm finally here. And then it was gone. I was like, damn. But then I was like, that's not the point. It's not for me to win. I have money in the platform, whatever. It was different with NBA. I do think like it was way easier for us to win limiteds if you've been playing since day one. But like my brother had been playing since day one of NBA because I got him in, and he had that taken from him like that, and he was winning limiteds and his team was coming together, and it was just like, why pull the plug now? It just, and it doesn't affect me really, but you know what does affect me is being able to play Sorare with my brother.
Right.
Being able to, I live across the country from him, and we were texting every night about Sorare, and that got taken away, and that hurts as bad as anything. That hurts me more than it hurts, with the pocketbook stuff.
Yeah.
That was my most passionate rant. It was on the thing that matters least to me.
No, I mean, I think it's a great point, though. So, Laird, what needs fixing, the game or the people?
Both. Stop whining so much.
I agree with that.
Like, I think the whole, like, you have to have ETH rewards or else everything's going to zero.
Incorrect.
Like, it's like going to anywhere and just being like, you should pay me money to play. And be like, no. Be like, no, I'm leaving. And they'll be like, well, that's not what we're here for. We're not here to like make you rich 0.003 ETH at a time. Like, I don't like, would I want ETH rewards? Sure. But I say that because I would probably win them. Yeah. And so, or I mean, who knows what they are. If they did a threshold, I would definitely. But I don't think ETH rewards automatically means everybody's like flying to play NBA and making card prices go up. Like I don't think it'll work that way. The number of people who I remember at the beginning of the season, or like when SorareNBA launched, and they were like, oh wow, there's no ETH rewards. Like I'll never play. And they've played all season, and they like the game, and they get excited when they win. And like, can they sell cards? Maybe not for as much as they think that they're worth, but like they're having a positive experience. And I feel like the negative experience comes from everybody saying, man, my cards aren't worth this. I can't sell this.
Exactly.
And it's now there's just too much focus on what you can't do. And you've like completely forgotten about why you liked this game back in October or November, whenever they launched. And I mean, frankly, if you bought cards in November, October, I think it was October. Yeah, October. Like if you bought cards in October, which is when I bought a lot of cards, of course you're underwater. We bought all the early ones. But also we've used them all season, except for my Walker Kessler that I won and sold because I'm an idiot. But that's part of the game. Like literally part of the game is like, do I keep this card or not? And I decided to sell that one. Probably to fund that stupid Cam Reddish card that I've held for
you know what's actually funny? On Hoop, you used to do this for baseball, and I thought it was a great idea. Maybe we should have had it done on basketball, but Hoop used to on his baseball show, his recap one, he'd get his reward, and then he would put comparable players in the same price range, and it would be, should I sell this guy to buy that guy, or could I hold on to it? And I thought that was like a great way to put that. We probably should be doing similar for basketball too, right? Is like, all right, I just want a Jordan Poole and he's 0.01, but I could get Bam for the same price. Who's better for me? Not should I take this 0.01 and go buy my lunch today? Like, right? Because it shouldn't be money that we're relying on. I really hope that winning our card being worth $25 or $10 versus $25 isn't costing anybody like dinner tonight, or you probably shouldn't be putting that money on the platform anyways, right? Like to your point, later, we should be like looking at the rewards and what we win and go, can this improve how can I improve my gameplay to get to what your point is? It's just, I want to win a Luka, or I want to win a Giannis, or I want to win a Jokic. And do I want to not do that? Do I want to just move from limited to rares? Is that like what I want to do? Like making those decisions, I think, is where we want to go.
Yes. So I used to kind of make the argument that the reason why the monetary values matter, and I mean, it still applies. I just don't think I actually feel this way anymore. But the reason why it matters is because that's the easiest way for us to know if we're doing well in this game. Mm-hmm. So like, if I had $50 yesterday or a month ago and I have $100 today, it's like, oh, theoretically, I'm doing well in this game. But I've actually completely changed the way that I think of, and I do this with football too, that there are like 6 cards on the platform, NBA and football, that I'm like, if I win one of those, like I really feel like I won. Like if I won a Doncic or I won a Jokic or I won a Giannis, then I'm like, I did it. I did really well in this game. If I win Mbappe or Messi, like those are cards. And I just like, that's the point of what we're doing. Like the point of all of this is to like win the best stuff. And so I understand that like if you win a reward that's like not as valuable as you think, and then you're like, well, now I can't sell it for what I want because I would love to sell my James Harden and buy Giannis with it. And it's like, well, that's not ever going to happen. So like, I don't understand. Like, I get it that like card value is going down or like having something now selling for less than where you bought it. But like, that's fundamentally not why we're supposed to be here.
Right.
Like you're not playing limited champion limit, whatever the hell we call it, to get rich. Like this is not the path of getting rich. This is a fantasy basketball game where we buy JPEGs. Like I can't. I'm sorry.
No.
Had people not said it on Twitter, it's like the rest of life. Had it not been complained about on Twitter, I wouldn't even know it was happening. I would not have even noticed the price of my cards were going down until like I started trying to sell people I wanted. Been like, I can't believe that's his price. Like I don't think about it. I'm not here. I want to increase my gallery value. I think on principle, good call. I think on principle, if I continue to win, the value of my gallery should go up. Like it's when that stops happening that it's a bit of a problem. And it does feel like we're there a little bit, but like I'm having fun. I didn't think I would enjoy the game. I told Keith when they announced it, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm playing this game because I
literally said that.
I said, I have done DFS and I don't like it. And I like this so much more because I only have to do the thing that I don't like once or twice a week.
Alex, I think actually
no
when they got released, I'm like, you're like, I'm not playing. I'm like, all right, we're going to record in 30 minutes.
Yes.
So you free in 30 minutes?
Yeah, right.
I think a lot of the thoughts of this stuff isn't worth enough comes from people who have made a ton of money from the football side. And I just don't think you can compare the two. And not to say like you can't make money playing SorareNBA, but like fundamentally it's a fantasy basketball game that we're just all hobby playing. Yeah. And if you're like here to get rich, I think you need to look somewhere else.
Football.
Well, for what it's worth too, like even if you are, God, who was it? Was it Vitali said it on your show, Laird? But he said, if you are actually here to make money, I know if you're actually, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if you're here to make money, playing is actually the worst thing you can do.
Yes. I mean, we talked about it on this show here that like
I think we have too, but
the player buyer player, I forget what we called it.
I like when smarter people than Alex or I say things, then it makes me feel good than when it's just like one of us saying it. But like, you know, Vitali, SorareData guy, like super smart, but what was it? He actually like built up his gallery from trading to get to a number that he was comfortable with, that he could compete. And he goes, okay, now I'm comfortable with the amount of money I put in, the amount that I traded up to, and now I'm going to play and now I'm going to enjoy it because, you know, trading actually isn't fun. As somebody that kind of built a gallery up by trading myself, like that was not enjoyable whatsoever. But you could make good money doing it, just playing on the margins, right? Like an NBA, just buying the low L10 guy as soon as the next week comes up, like knowing who's about to fall off. and then waiting for the run up, like you probably could do quite well throughout the season doing that. Like literally, like everybody at lock still, as soon as lock happens, everybody that was like in demand is now a 40% discount from the run up.
Yep.
And sometimes they become the second run up. We've talked about the double, triple middle fingers. So like if you want to make money, just trade. And trade enough to be in the clear with you put in 100 and now you traded it up to 400 and now go have fun.
Yeah, it like there is no doubt. And like that was one of our first shows.
Right.
Like
player trade,
right? Yeah.
Player trade, yeah.
And all of us were like, you obviously trade if you're doing it for money. And the three of us play. Like I don't know.
Actually,
like
you know what's funny? Laird? I look back on SorareData plug, one of the coolest features I like, manager stats. You can go by sport and see how much money has been invested in. The coolest thing about NBA, I traded a ton at the beginning because there was such high peaks and such low supply that I gave myself enough of a fluff that I don't really care about the bags that I'm holding or like, whatever you want to say, like the value of my guys, because I made enough in the beginning that now I'm just trying to try to put in lineups in. And now that I've seen like enough volatility and like enough, I'm just like, I just don't want to buy a card right now to see what I can win out of it and go from there. But, I just haven't had the pressure to do that. Yeah.
So Boudwine brought up like Sorare's full of people who lost tons of money. I assume that means Top Shot. Like it actually sounds a lot like the people who like got killed on
Football Index.
Excuse me. And then like went to Sorare and they're like, oh, here's another way I can make money. And now people are like, oh, I made a ton of money on Top Shot, then it all went away. Oh, Sorare's just like this. Let me go do that. Like it's not the same thing. Like it's very much not the same thing.
Can I also make a statement that I don't even believe as I'm saying it, but it's unfortunately the truth? Until you sell, you technically have not lost anything. I'm going to talk. But like, I'm not saying that I'm expecting the SorareNBA values to all of a sudden ascend to the moon. I am not calling for the moon. But, I've had a Bam Adebayo since week 1. And it was something like 0.06 or 0.07. I think he's not even worth a seventh of that. I haven't sold him for the number that he's going for. Eventually,
yeah,
it could. But I get to use him and win stuff with him and keep yielding, which was kind of like my earlier rant that you corrected me off of Laird. Is like the reality is you can keep winning with the card.
Sure.
Nobody telling you that you have to sell him now that his value is half of what you paid for it. You can just keep winning.
Yeah, I want to address this comment.
Jump shoot it. It is. It was a joke of like ducking. Like I always have to make one uncomfortable comment a show. Last week it was the 76ers. All right, just kind of my thing.
Yeah. So Hey Eagle brought up the guy that bought the unique Giannis is in trouble.
Is he?
Like he's got a $1.5 million Sorare portfolio. Like I don't think he's worried about it. And also like why does it matter? Who cares? Not our money, not our card.
He said he won it. And remember he he messaged AJ on the show. He's like, here's why I did it. Like he had justification for why he did it.
I don't think the guy with the $1.5 million Sorare galleries like walking back into his shack worried about putting gas in his car to drive to his minimum wage job. I think he's got a $1.5 million Sorare gallery because he can go buy a Giannis and that's what he wants to do with it. Also, I will say probably at the unique level, it can be a profit center and they can worry about whether or not card values are going up and down. And I think that's mostly who we're hearing it from. I know you had a point to make, so.
Yeah. And this other one that I think a lot of people thought ETH was coming at some point.
Did we? I honestly didn't think it was happening because the baseball didn't happen.
Right.
I think there were enough people who were like, surely they have to have ETH at some point because football does. And like never was there an indication from Sorare that it was coming. And so like there's people. Sorry.
People keep deluding themselves into thinking it's coming. They're like, they never said it couldn't be done.
Right.
Just like, yeah, but they never indicated that it would. Which, if it does, cool, great, and all those people would be happy. But it's when I win a card. The last point I wanted to make sure, when I win a card, I don't think, how much can I sell it for? I think, can I play it? Is it a good card? Just a mentality thing.
Even with what you're saying, by the way, because I actually do, like on the football and basketball side, the first thing I do look is like what the value is, but it's not to cash it out.
Right.
It's not to cash it out. It's to actually do the value equivalency thing. Like, can I actually utilize this card, or is the ETH? Do I want to store the ETH in my wallet to buy something else, whether it's on the football side or a basketball side? Like, do I want to put it to work? It's not to cash it out for dinner tonight.
Yeah. Somebody pointed out that like more people are looking in fiat than ETH. Either way, like you look at how much you can sell the card in euros or dollar, whatever it is. But it's funny, Keith, that you brought that up, because like I don't know how many people are necessarily trying to sell. I mean, maybe they are, and it's just that I feel like with this product, you win something, you're like, oh man, if I sold that, I could just get this. Like, you actually are less like, or you're accumulating 8 cards to eventually buy one, and you're like, man, the price of the cards that I'm trying to sell are going down. It's like, well, the one that you're buying is also going down. Like, it's all relative to each other.
It's not like Luka. It's not like Luka 3x does everything else halved.
Right.
You know, it's Luka got cheaper too.
Yeah, I just think that like we've forgotten that it's a game.
Yep.
Because we can buy and sell stuff, everyone's like, oh, this is how I can make money. And it's like, some people can, sure, but like playing the game's actually not the way to make money.
Right. Just trade and get out. Play the ETH stuff. Would it be better, Laird, if everything was just in SoCoins?
As we said on SorareData office hours, they are not SoCoins. They are Sorare coins, or they are just coins. That's all.
By the way, plug for office hours. I can't wait for it to come out. I told Laird there's very little in the Sorare content universe that makes me more excited than when Maxime's on a show speaking English. And I can listen. I love it. Maxime, Theo, Maxime, we love you, man.
I pronounce SorareData in Maxime's. No, the whole thing, and I won't do it live because I don't want to insult him. And it's totally. I mean it positively. I don't know the right way to say that, but I do it every time because it just sounds like honey. It's amazing.
Yeah. Bonman's asking if they can remove ETH rewards.
I don't know that.
I think he's joking.
I don't know.
Oh, he wants them out. Maybe not.
I don't know.
I do think that like the club shop and coins thing has to come to NBA, because
that would be a game changer, by the way, for what it's worth. Like the amount of people that would you could get like a game signed shoe or jersey or armband. Like people would go or just the tickets. Yeah.
Got a lot of room back here.
Even just tickets. Yeah. I think that there should be, it's easy to
I hope that's there. I hope that's in the plans, and just football is the test area for it, and then they'll bring it over type of thing. But like somebody asked too if those coins should ever be for cards. I pray to God no. We've talked about Laird has talked about that with a number of shows on football. The game and shop and like experience points that you get should not affect the game. Period. Like in this, it should be for fun stuff.
Jumpshoot asks, "What do you guys think of the mega pools?" I don't know what that is. So if Jumpshoot, you can tell us what that is, because it sounds very exciting. But no, I think a club shop with the ability to like what I really was disappointed at the beginning of the season. I felt like it was at the beginning when they were like, win NBA League Pass. And you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then you were like, finish in first.
Yeah.
And you can get a $90 League Pass. And I was like, first? Like, I honestly thought it would be like top 100. And it was first place.
Lord knows the NBA can't skimp on that League Pass. Everybody's buying it after the last 10 years of everybody complaining that it was completely unusable.
So,
right.
Real quick, I know we're running late on time. Can you put up the last "Hey Eagles" fan thing? We'll take out the part with the MLB, but like if they did positional requirements, that's just another game mode though they could do. You could do
where that was, but
it's 503, but like that was like one of my thoughts for a different game mode. Maybe we could do a whole show on just different game modes, but is like you could do a positional. You could do a positional game mode where you have to point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, or you go 2 guards, 2 forwards, center. That would be fun.
Would be fun. I pray they do that for baseball.
That's better than Eastern and Western.
Yeah, a lot better.
Somebody made a comment or another like, I like Eastern and Western. I'm like, I hope you're the only one. Like, there's nothing more frustrating than you do one of those contests and you're sitting on a 33 and you have 4 in the West and you have a perfectly good 33 Eastern Conference guy. You're like, really? I just want to use this card. I don't want to put it into training. Just let me use the damn card.
All right, jump shoot. So I didn't realize this is what you were talking about, but you said Team Hold has one. It's a 300-person private tournament, and Sorare is giving them extra rewards.
Yeah, I love
for
that.
people who finish in the top. So the reason I don't like that, I mean, I think it's great that they're doing it. It's also kind of funny that they're like, we can't give out any more rewards. And they're like, oh, I have this private league. And they're like, oh, here, take some rewards. But anyway, if I remember correctly, you're not actually using different cards. It's just like everybody's limited contender lineup, for example. If I'm wrong about that, then please correct me. But it's like all the private leagues from the Global Cup tournament that like if you won one, you're probably winning them all. And
there literally was a guy that got 6th in the main one and won like every single private league.
But I like the idea of like another place to win rewards.
Yeah.
But I'm not actually using any more cards. Like I'm just entering. Yeah. So he confirms the same lineups. Like that is moving my training lineups from 36 to 36. Like it's like nothing is different. And so like fundamentally, I think they just need more play. Like all the time underdog, all the time no cap, under 23, over 32.
Consistent. But no,
right.
every week.
Yeah. I don't want this week is Eastern West, which I described to Keith as like it's just lazy. Like I don't even care about conferences when I'm like watching the NBA. Like obviously standings matter, but like I went to make a lineup and I'm like, oh, half of my really good cards are in the Western Conference and half are in the East. So I make my Western Conference lineup and I have 39 cap points left. And I'm like, I'm not going to go buy somebody for this competition.
And like, Alex doesn't want somebody to analyze their gallery. And he goes, you're a little too heavy on West Coast. You need more on the East in case the balance is like, that's stupid as hell.
I want a Pistons only league. I've watched so many Pistons games. I watched it again last night. They're so bad.
You know what the best part though? Club Shop. And then I probably said, Alex would totally buy a Pistons gear now.
No, I would not.
James Wiseman.
I'll buy one to set it on fire.
Wristband.
Yeah, give me the game-worn jersey from last night where he just left Kuzma wide open for a game-winning tip back.
I'm just saying, like, if you had a lineup that won a card that included 3 Pistons in it, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, you win this headband that has a Pistons logo right here. You'd be like, yeah, let's go.
You'd be like, I just became a Pistons fan.
Yeah, let me get Isaiah Livers back in my lineup for this week.
Yes. Do you know the name of the Pistons mascot?
No. Why would I? I'm not a Pistons fan. They haven't sent me a headband. Maybe once they send me a headband, I will.
It's Hooper.
Why aren't you a Pistons fan?
Because I'm a Cavs fan.
I know, because you're a Cavs.
Yeah, because he's a Cavs fan, yeah.
I get it.
I don't know.
I love the Pistons when they were good.
I actually like. I hate that the make our cards more valuable conversation turns into the more competitions, because I like. Yes, I don't want my cards to be worth nothing, but like I don't care what they're worth. I just want to use them. I want to use my cards for something other than those cards getting more XP.
Right.
Please. And like you said, Keith, like consistent. I want to know every week how many people with Luka cards are like, am I playing him in champion or am I playing him in under 23?
You know what's kind of funny too on the football side? We used to have the special weeklies, which when I did not like, you didn't have that many cards, could kind of be cool. Like you might be able to, but once you do have enough cards, you actually don't care about the specials. You just want to like, there's enough like time and thought process that goes into just making, you know, on the football side. Now I'm making like 16 lineups. It takes like serious time, but it's still fun. It's like in the hobby. But like we don't need this stuff to change out. Just like, you know, if Alex knew that he could make a U23 and an over 32, he would orient his gallery to have like, you know, 8 U23 guys that he could use in that competition and a couple over. Like you could like strategize those things. Just coming in and out. It's no cap week. It's underdog week. It's tiring to me.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like I think that Sorare has always really underestimated how far ahead that people plan.
Mm-hmm.
And giving us 1 week to be like, hey, do you want to play U23 this week? Or, hey, for game week 41 and 42, it's Western Conference. And you're like, okay, like, do I have the guy? Like, I don't want to go out and buy those guys because in 3 weeks, it's Eastern Conference week and those guys are worthless now. Or not worthless, but they're.
You actually
like,
take my value. Maybe even
just give me these consistent things. So these cards that I'm buying and that I'm winning can be used in lineups to like win more. I'm okay using cards to win cards to win cards to win cards, as Nellis has always said.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that until I get Luka, and then I'm just walking away.
I think we're good.
A few people have brought up collection challenges, and I don't want to talk about that now. I actually had talked about it previously with Mike Zakarian from Team Hold. So if you just go back like 2 episodes, we talk about it. But basically, the answer is no, thank you.
No. We don't need another
reason. Thank you for joining us. Oh, sorry, Keith. What's that?
I was going to say, we don't need another reason for more cards that we can't use without
So thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you guys could please hit the like button on the video, it's always really helpful. If you could please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. It's like obviously trailing our main football channel, but you know, getting more subscribers is always really nice. So if you guys could please do that, it's always really helpful. If you subscribe to the SorareData podcast feed anywhere, we put all of our shows on the same feed. Hopefully the little icons indicating different shows help you in case you don't really care about football or don't care about the NBA or don't care about baseball for all of the 0 shows that we've done for baseball so far. So anyway, please subscribe, like, and rate and review those to get more people to check those out. So yeah, thank you very much. And good luck with those training lineups.